So I have once again managed to get my hands on both of the Y1 Black Friday sticks. The Project Noir is an upgraded version of the current LB90 stick with a new layup and composition profile. The Project Blanc is something a little bit more extreme. Both sticks are extreme low bow profiles with a 25mm bow located 200mm from the head of the stick, and both feature a white face to aid with drag flicking deception. On top of that, the Project Blanc also features a cup in the face along with a hook that is twisted forward to aid with drag flicking. But are these changes any good? So I immediately clicked with the Noir stick as I have used several LBX sticks, so this shape is really familiar to me. I thought that the new layup gave an excellent balance of stiffness and feedback on the ball against a fairly forgiving first touch. The feedback made it very nice to dribble with and gave a great deal of confidence when receiving the ball. I was more than happy to receive the ball in tight spaces and was trusting that the stick was going to give me that reliable first touch. The Blanc was a little bit more of a learning curve. The stiffness felt a little bit higher than with the Noir stick, and so the stick gave great feedback on the ball. But the first touch was very unforgiving. You have to really compensate and have soft hands when receiving the ball. If the ball didn't hit the centre of the face cup, it became even more unforgiving as it would cause the ball to bounce off at odd angles. Once you do get the ball under control, the feedback made the stick really nice to dribble with, and you can keep the ball tucked into the cup and held on the face, so you have great control over the movement of the ball. I found that the Blanc was especially good at receiving the ball on reverse stick, as the cupping pushed the ball into the pitch and made it much easier to trap. Again, the Noir felt very familiar. It kept the control hitting of the Y1 LB profile, but I think it added a little bit more stiffness and a higher power transfer. It was very easy to utilise that extra power to fire the ball into the corners when shooting, or pinging the ball across the pitch to a teammate. Slap passing with this stick is fantastic, having both the power and accuracy being very consistent. The Blanc was again something very different. It had an obscene amount of hitting power, but it was so difficult to make full use of. Because of the stick's profile, it makes it very easy to get under the ball, and so you could very easily lift the ball accidentally. You have to really focus on hitting, especially if you're wanting to hit flat. This means you can very rarely make full use of that hitting power, especially when hitting passes, as it's very easy to put a bobble on the pass. I'm sure that using this stick for longer, I would have been able to adapt a little bit more and had higher confidence, but I don't think I would ever have the same confidence levels as I have with the Blanc stick. Both sticks hit Tomahawks very well. Similar striking points, edge thickness, weight and balance points meant that they felt very similar when taking on Tomahawks. I would say that the Blanc has a little bit extra power from that higher stiffness and bigger power transfer, but both sticks were able to fire the ball into the corners with relative ease. If you're pretending to be NMF hockey and are hitting an upright reverse stick volley, then I would say that the Noir was the more consistent stick. This is where the aggressive shaping of the Blanc stick really comes into play. The shaping makes it very easy to get under the ball, and the cup holds the ball on the face of the stick. This allows you to push the head of the stick through the ball straight towards the target, the ball staying firmly on the face of the stick, and all of that power is transferred to the ball because of the stiffness. When you're using this stick for 3D skills, it's fantastic for getting under the ball and just lifting it slightly into the air. You can even hold the ball in the cup on the face of the stick, so you can lift the ball over without losing control at any point. Whether you're using it for 3D skills, playing small lifted passes to teammates, or firing the ball high into the net, the Blanc stick was absolutely fantastic. To be fair, the Noir stick is not bad for flicking either. This is a really nice shape for getting under the ball, keeping it under control and lifting it with confidence, but the power and the accuracy that you can get with the Blanc stick really shone through here. When it comes to overheads, the Noir was super consistent. It offered great accuracy and you could easily throw the ball over half a pitch. I was really confident using this stick that I could drop the ball onto a teammate's stick or into a space for them to run into consistently. When using the Blanc stick, it offered much more range with that extreme shape and the ability to transfer so much power onto the ball. but what I found was that you have to be very strict with your technique. If you have any sort of pull to the left in your follow through, then the ball would fly off target because the ball would stay in that cup on the face. If you were able to keep your follow through straight, you could absolutely launch the ball down the pitch, easily throwing it from top D to top D onto a teammate's stick. Using that cupped face to hold the ball, you could accelerate through with a great deal of power and really get everything behind the ball to send it down the pitch. So let's start off with the white face that both sticks have. I strapped a camera onto the goalie so that we could compare how easy it was to read the ball off the face of the stick, which is what the white face is meant to disguise. So for comparison, I had a couple of Dragflicks first with last year's GCX Black Friday stick. You can see the difference when I swap over to the white face stick when using a white ball, but let's also compare when using a different coloured ball as well. As I think the footage shows, it's more difficult to read the white ball on the white stick. It gives you a split second longer where the ball is harder to make out against the face of the stick when comparing it to either a yellow or an orange ball, which is much more visible. That small benefit to the Dragflicker when getting up to the elite level can be a real difference maker, but I think as you come down the leagues it makes less and less of a difference. The Noir is a really good extreme low bow profile for drag flicking. There's a reason that it's used by the likes of Alex Hendricks. It has a nice bow for both generating power and maintaining accuracy, but also gives you a great deal of options when adding deception to your flick. The blank is really something else when it comes to drag flicking. You need to adapt your technique to make full use of the profile on the blank stick. Because of the cupped face, you can make use of a longer drag, but if you get the angle of the stick wrong, then you will be just pushing the ball into the pitch throughout the entire drag, adding friction, slowing the ball down and losing power. If you get this right, the ball flies down the stick, you can really utilise the bow, and it then sits on that cupped face where you can accelerate the hook through the ball to add a lot of power and launch it towards the goal. Though this gives you fantastic power, what Boss F goalie told me afterwards was that once he'd worked this out, it was very easy to read the ball, and it was basically just if he could move in time to get the block on because he knew exactly where it was going. It was very difficult to add deception onto your flicks when using the blank stick. It was possible, but you had to adapt your technique again, and it meant you couldn't utilise as much power as you had to try and avoid letting the ball sit into the cupped face. So, I think while both of these sticks are very well made, for me personally, I think that the Noir stick, which is the improvement on the LB90, the improved layout and materials and the added white face, I think is a fantastic stick. It's a great improvement on the existing LB90 stick. It has fantastic power transfer, it's really nice to dribble with, it's a nice controllable shape, so you can do a lot more with it. It's consistent when you're flicking, when you're hitting, and it's just a super well-rounded stick in every sense. I'm really hopeful that this is going to be the new layout process that Y1 are going to use in the new range that's just about to launch. When it comes to the blank, I'm not convinced. I think it is a very good stick for drag flicking, possibly the best stick purely for drag flicking that I've ever used, taking the title off of the Adidas Shosa that I've reviewed previously. The stick does have some redeeming qualities. It has fantastic power transfer, the spine down the back really stiffens up the stick. It's great for 3D skills because you can get under the ball so easily, but again, those caveats come in that it is designed purely to be the best drag flicking stick they could make. It is super committed to just drag flicking though. Every decision that they've made is to make the best drag flicking stick they can. It's got a deep groove running up the face, it's got a cup on the face to add how much power you can throw through the ball without losing control of it, and that hook that's twisted forward. Because of all of that though, is a stick made with many compromises. It's not fantastic for hitting because it takes a lot of getting used to get it under control, and even then it's still very difficult to hit the ball flat to the ground. Purely for a drag flicking stick, it's fantastic. If that is all you're looking for from a stick, this is something that I would say would be right up your street. For an all-round game of hockey, I personally think this stick comes with too many caveats to recommend. Yes, it's fantastic for drag flicking, but the knock-on effect of the uncontrollable hitting, especially coupled with the power that the stick offers, just makes it a very difficult stick to use and be consistent with, and it just doesn't give me the confidence that I want to take into a game. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below of any sticks you'd like me to try and review in future. If you can, please go over and watch my brand pitch episodes. They're interviews that I do with brands, talking about what they offer and how they make their decisions. I've recently done one with Osaka, which is fantastic. We get a sneak peek of a new product they're launching and their Paris range, which is coming out soon. If you can support further, I have a membership on my website as well as a Patreon. They both cost just £1 a month. It helps me to cover the cost of reviews, and it helps me to do more giveaways and things like that to give back to the people who have supported me. You also get early access to reviews, behind the scenes information, and bonus entries into any social media giveaway that I run. I have quite a few coming up in line with my recently passing 100,000 on Instagram, so it's worthwhile joining up now. Once again, thank you very much for watching and supporting Boss F Hockey.